We welcome to the show Curtis Stigers. How's it going, Curtis?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Thanks for having me on.
You're performing at Tunbridge Wells Assembly Hall Theatre on Monday the 20th of May. What do you have planned for the evening? Am I right in saying it's an acoustic set?
Yes, indeed. Normally, I've played the Assembly Halls a number of times over the past decade or so, and it's always been with my full band, piano, bass, drums, guitar, trumpet, lots of instruments. This time around, I'm just bringing my guitar and a couple of saxophones, and my friend James Schofield, who's a wonderful guitarist, and the two of us are basically just putting on I don't know, it's almost like after a dinner party when after a couple glasses of wine, when somebody says, "Hey, Curtis, play a few songs." That's how I like to look at this tour. It's very, very simple, very relaxed, and I'm able to play a lot of material that I don't normally play with my regular jazz band.
Yeah, not many people know that you also play the saxophone as well. How long have you been playing for?
I started playing sax when I was a kid. I played clarinet and saxophone in school, so I've always been the singer who plays saxophone.
You're also performing at Ronnie Scott's in June. Is Ronnie's one of your favourite venues?
It's an amazing place. The history alone, you can just feel it in the air. The number of jazz and pop sort of icons that have played there over the years is so impressive, and it's just the right size club for a jazz club. It's big enough so you can get a lot of people in there, but small enough that everyone has a great seat and everyone feels like they're being treated to something special. I love Ronnie's.
Yeah, there's a really good vibe about Ronnie Scott's, isn't there?
Yeah, and I've done a residency there every summer. I think this will be our 5th summer in a row. It's something I and my band we look forward to it all year long.
So, what made you originally go from being a pop artist to a jazz artist?
Well, I grew up studying jazz and playing jazz. I mean, when I came up, I listened to all kinds of music, and I wanted to play all those different kinds of music. So, I was playing in blues bands and soul bands and rock and roll bands and, punk rock and new wave cover bands and also, jazz. At a certain point in my pop career, I realized that perhaps it wasn't going to be as easy to keep up with the kids anymore. Trying to have a hit single all the time it's a lot of work, and it's a lot, it's a lot of worry about something that really I never enjoyed that much. The idea that if your first single didn't get played on the radio, that your album was not a success. That it sort of judged on that as opposed to the merit of the music. So it made sense for me to find my way back to playing jazz, or at least to recording it. I was always playing it, just I didn't make any jazz records until 2001.
And out of the songs you recorded, what's the song you're most happy with? I mean, you've recorded some great songs like I Wonder Why and You're All That Matters to Me, songs like this, but to you, what's the song you're most happy with that you've recorded?
Well, those two songs certainly have been very good to me, and not only did I record those songs, I Wonder Why and You're All That Matters to Me, but I wrote them, so they're very close to home. People always ask, do you get tired of playing I Wonder Why, and I don't, because it really, it's mine. I wrote it. It was about a period of my life, and it was autobiographical. So I mean, it's something I can always get in touch with. But I've recorded so many songs that I love. My new album has a bunch of songs by great songwriters that I admire. There's a Bob Dylan song called "Things Have Changed" that I think is one of the cleverest, sort of wittiest tunes that I've ever heard. It's just like Bob Dylan. It's sort of cynical and yet romantic at the same time. The title track from the new album, "Let's Go Out Tonight," was written by Paul Buchanan for his band, the Blue Nile, great Scottish band, and not necessarily, it's not the kind of band that you would think you'd hear on a jazz record, but I think Paul Buchanan writes masterpieces. I mean, this song is just such a perfect little gem of a tune. Very, very sad. One of the saddest songs I've ever heard. And so those are a couple that I'm very fond of. But I've recorded so many great songs by Elvis Costello, by Nick Lowe, by Richard Thompson, by Lennon and McCartney. I really try to find songs that aren't from sort of the normal jazz repertoire, which is usually our older songs from the Great American Songbook. I try to find songs that are from my generation, from modern pop music and rock music and soul and blues and rhythm and blues.
So you like a mix of music?
I do indeed. I think a good song is a good song, no matter what style it comes from. If it's well written and it has a real emotion and honesty, you can take a fabulous folk song that has real heart and turn it into a jazz tune, or take it from jazz and put it into another format. It's the song is the thing for me, and the story that the songs tell. That's the thing that I'm going for. I consider myself a storyteller first as a singer.
You was mentioning Paul Buchanan. He's actually a very good jazz singer as well, isn't he, when he gives it a go?
He could sing the phone book as far as I'm concerned. He has one of the most haunting voices I've ever heard. Really amazing. Yeah, I've been a fan of the Blue Nile since their first album.
Yeah, great band. Your last album, as you mentioned, or your new album, I should say, is Let's Go Out Tonight from 2012. Are you thinking of doing a new album soon?
Well, I am indeed. I've been picking out songs and writing songs and working on arrangements, and it looks like I'm going to be going into the studio in April with my band. So I will actually have an album in the can, as they say, by the time I get to England. So you never know, we might even pull a song out of our hats that comes from that record as well. But they will be, as of yet anyway, unreleased.
Great. So what's the plan for that? Is it going to be a mixture like the last album, or is it going to be American Songbook songs?
Well, I'm definitely on this record coming up. I'm looking at quite a few songs from the Great American Songbook, sort of going back. I get so many people saying, "God, I just wish you'd sing some standards every now and then," because I'm always sort of experimenting with the more modern tunes as jazz tunes. So I am looking at some Great American Songbook tunes, and I'm writing as well. I mean, I didn't write any of the songs on Let's Go Out Tonight on the new album of mine, because I was coming out of a very difficult period. I got divorced in the last couple of years, and I'm never able to write. I'm not very good at creating new material when I'm in the middle of something. So I'm better off looking back after I've sort of come out of the haze. So I'm just starting to write again, and so there'll be songs of my own, and of course there's always a modern tune or two that I like to translate into a different genre.
Yeah, it's always interesting to do, isn't it?
I enjoy it. I enjoy taking a song apart and rebuilding it in a different way. I like, and that's how I can tell a song has real strength in the way it's written. It's just that you can take it apart and put it back together, and it still floats.
So who are some of your favorite artists that you like to listen to?
Oh God, the range is almost too great to. I listen to a lot of singer-songwriters these days. People that maybe you wouldn't even have heard of. There's a couple called Buddy and Julie Miller out of I think they live in Nashville or in Tennessee anyway. Great singer-songwriters, and I've covered a song or two of theirs. I always pick up the new Elvis Costello record and the new Nick Lowe record. As far as younger artists, there's an American band called Fun that I like quite a bit, and there's a British artist called Ed Sheeran, or Sheeran, I'm not sure quite how to pronounce it, but I think he's really very, very talented. He performed on the Grammys, the American Music Awards, the American Music Awards show a few weeks ago, and he performed with Elton John, and I was quite moved by it. It was pretty cool. So there's just so many great artists out there. I mean, I grew up listening to Ray Charles, and everything from Ray Charles to B.B. King to the Sex Pistols, and I still am a fan of that sort of second English invasion, that late 70s, early 80s English invasion that hit America. All those great kind of pub rock and punk rock and post-punk sort of bands. I love that era. it never occurred to me to say, oh, I like this music, therefore I don't like anything else. You know, I mean, I'm a fan. And when I was growing up, you listened to pop radio, and everything was on pop radio in the 70s. You could hear Joni Mitchell and Neil Young on the same station as Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple, and the same station as Gladys Knight and the Pips and Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye. You know, there was much more sort of an open acceptance of music as opposed to music as a genre. You know, now you listen to radio in the United States and you hear one style of music over and over and over and over again. And you know, I think that you cut yourself off from so much great stuff if you just listen to one thing. Good music is good music.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter what genre, as you say. Good music is good music. It doesn't matter, does it?
I find that, you know, the problem is that, you know, businessmen tend to run the radio waves these days and what gets on TV, guys in suits, and they don't stop to listen to what people like to listen to. And I mean, I go out and play music for people every year, you know. I mean, that's how I make my living, is touring. And I speak to people, and they like the jazz that I play, and they like the pop that I play, and the soul. And I mean, they're not sort of limited by names or by titles or by boxes that music is put into. You know, I know most people will go listen to a rock and roll show and then go to a classical concert and then go hear a folk singer. I mean, there's nothing wrong with variety. It's the spice of life, isn't it? Isn't that what they say?
Well, we're going to be looking forward to seeing you at Tunbridge Wells. So don't forget, Curtis will be at Tunbridge Wells Theatre on the 20th of May, and he's also going to be at Ronnie Scott's from the 17th to the 21st of June. Thanks a lot for joining me on the show.
I enjoyed it very much. A nice chat with you, and I'll see you in Tunbridge Wells.
Thanks, Curtis.
All right, thanks.